Recording. Is the man from Sky?
Morning. Gone quiet. Oh, I know why.
All gone quiet over there. Oh, you've all gone quiet over there. Football songs. We could have a session on football songs, couldn't we?
That was the first prize in the sweepstakes.
You only sing when you're winning. That's why we're quiet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We forgot the words. Do is sack the boards.
Yeah, what do you do when you've not got a board?
Get a decent one in, hopefully.
Well, we've got a princess on our board, John.
Have you?
Yeah.
No way to talk about Keith.
Morning, all.
Morning.
Paul the Biscuit, you're coming to us through a fog. Oh, you
Yeah,
see clear.
It's the
I can see clearly now.
yeah, it's the sun shining through the window. I'm
Is it?
doing a
Yeah.
bit of sunbathing, yeah,
The
And
sun
I-
shines on the righteous.
or something else.
Yeah, where's your brother? His kilt's dropped off.
Is that any better?
No, we can't see you now.
I was just going to say that. You beat me to it.
The old ones are always the best.
Yeah.
We are, aren't we? We are the old ones.
The old ones, darling, we're the old ones.
Hello. Just done my first swim for 4 months this morning.
Have you? Is
Aye.
that why you look knackered?
All
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many lengths do you do, Paul?
I just did a mile.
Was that in the
Just-
pool or open water?
No, in the pool. I'm not
Which
running
pool
up
was that?
water yet.
Paul? Which
It's not,
pool?
it's not even double figures degrees yet outside.
It's double figures lengths, though, isn't it?
Pardon, sorry?
It's double figures lengths wise. And
Yeah, 64 lengths. Yeah.
Yeah. Was it in Dronfield Pool?
No, the one at Graves. You know where I've seen you.
Oh,
at the-
yes. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Dronfield still open, the Civic Centre?
Yes, it is.
Not
Yeah.
the Civic Centre, the Sports Centre, yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, the pool's open there as well.
Are there many in, Paul? Many in?
Yes, it's they only allow a certain number in. There's only 30 at a time, and you can only do
How
40,
long? About an hour?
45 minutes.
Blimey, you were shifting.
Well, I booked a double session, but I only did. I did 48 lengths in the first session, and got out just before the end of it. I had 15 minutes break and got in and did another 16 lengths. But I had to get out because otherwise I wouldn't have made this. I've only just made it out.
Yeah, I can see your hair's still wet.
Yeah, that's getting taken off this afternoon as well. So
I've got, yeah. My haircut's tomorrow.
yeah,
I'm having mine done.
Yeah,
Well, you
I'm
got
up-
your head painted, Keith.
I'm having anaesthetic.
Leave it with that drop.
anywho,
Yeah, good barber.
Right, shall we crack on, chaps? Crack on.
crack on.
We've got to ask Mike a question first, though.
Okay.
Where did you live when you were a young boy?
Over in Lancashire, near Burnley.
Near
Yeah.
Burnley.
Yeah,
Burnley.
Burnley.
Okay.
that's
It's a great game of football in a car park at Burnley.
it.
I better know.
And then Wednesday lost by 3.
That explains why you're a red then.
Yeah,
Well,
thank you.
yeah, why aren't you a Burnley supporter?
Right.
Oh, Burnley were the champions, and all the kids used to go on about it in the early 60s. So I supported the underdogs, and it turned out right in the end. So there we are.
Yeah.
What was
That could have been-
unusual about? Do you know what was unusual about Burnley winning the title?
Oh, I do.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
it was goal difference, was it? Or
No, they would never top until the last day of the season.
Correct.
That's
Oh,
correct.
Yeah.
Best thing to do.
Amazing.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Well, we've never
Right.
been champions.
We've been champions.
I know, best to remember it,
1898.
We were the best team of the early 1990s.
Yeah, we were the
We-
team,
We were the best team.
and that's why
If my dad had gone left out of his drive instead of right, I'd have been a Forest fan. Think about that.
I know.
He'd just gone that way instead of that way. Oh,
we
You'd
were
have had some good years under Brian Clough.
oh my
Yeah.
God. Oh, I
Mm.
can't.
we were that dominant
It
in
sends
the early
shudders.
1900s. That's why Manchester United are called Manchester United.
Correct.
Well, I'll take a bit of an issue with you there because we were pretty dominant in the early 1900s.
Yeah, but
Oh, no,
Manchester
well,
Wednesday.
Two league titles and 2 FA Cups.
Fancy being called Manchester Monday.
Manchester what?
Manchester Monday.
I don't
Yeah,
like
we got-
Monday.
Mamas and Papas wrote them a song, didn't they? Yeah.
yeah.
Right, let's. John, have you got any news to tell us?
Only bits and pieces. I mean, visiting has increased at residential homes from yesterday, so I've been trying to negotiate a visit to Ed at Bayton. I'll keep you informed about that. I saw old John the other day, and it's his 90th birthday on the 1st of May. So I've been trying to get him a copy of the Bee Gees single, 1st of May. You won't believe how difficult it is to get one. You can get one from Germany or Japan and pay a lot of money. So settle for a CD with that on. That'll teach him whether he likes the Bee Gees or not.
A
And
copy
then
of
finally,
Or Bee
what?
Gees?
What? The
Bee
Bee
Gees.
Gees, 1st of May, because that's his birthday.
Right.
Anyway, and finally, you and I are going to Cyril's on Thursday to do some moving. And,
Well done.
Can we do it first thing?
what do you call first thing? I mean, for me, you can, yeah. What do you call first thing?
About 9:30.
Yeah,
That's afternoon,
that's probably second thing, but yeah, that's all right by me. I'll talk to Anita. I'll let you know.
Yeah, all right, that's good.
Okay.
Just John's coming round just
Oh, is
turned
he?
11 o'clock, so.
First,
That's Charlotte.
Right.
Well done, John.
As many of you will have seen, you were all entered in the Grand National on Saturday. You let a woman beat you. What are you doing?
Can we have a minute's silence for my horse?
Oh, right.
Die.
Yes.
yay.
Is it put down?
Yeah. I mean, we could have a moment's silence for Prince Philip, but I think there's been that many already. I think more than his life's worth.
Never have enough. Never have enough.
Wednesday.
You can never have enough, I suppose. So we should say well done to Prince Philip for getting to 99.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we should.
He was a big man in sport during his lifetime as well.
Yeah.
It was.
I've got a little bit of that to come on this.
All right.
Just in
everybody.
case you weren't aware of where your horse has finished, Barry was second on Balco Desfloss, and that would have been the one to back with 100 to 1. Jonathan, you came third
Yeah.
on any second now.
Well done.
Yes.
Fourth was Mary Hall on Burrows Saint.
The rest of us entered.
Fifth was Four Class with Glenn. Sixth was Dave Redfern
Too much weight.
on Black Lion. Seventh, Peter
Yeah.
on
Discorama.
Discorama. Eighth was Dave the Hammer on. Oh no, he went. Eighth was Jet with Nigel.
Thought Dave the Hammer won it.
Lol was 9th on Cabaret Queen. Quite apt, I thought that.
Is there any-
10th was Mick the Bulgarian on Shattered Love. 11th was Cyril and Anita on Alpha de Obo. No wonder that didn't win it. Carried them
Exactly.
too.
Horse.
12th was Hogan's Height with Trisha. 13th was Big Paul on Acapello Bourgeois. And 14th, where's 14th? I've lost 14th.
Is it finished?
14th was Ron on Sub-Lieutenant. And 15th, the final finisher, was Jenny the Cake on Class Conte.
Ooh, the final finisher.
After the cakes, she was going along, that's why she finished last.
Did anybody back the winner
Dave the Hammer.
apart from me? I managed to back the winner.
So did I, Peter.
Well
And it was
done.
only because it was the lady rider who'd done so well at Cheltenham.
Yeah.
I won't
Yeah.
steal Lol's thunder.
Well done, you two.
Somebody once said they got a tip from a professional, and he said, what you need to get a good winner is a good horse with a good owner, a good trainer, and a good jockey, and then you'll have a good winner.
Yeah,
And he's right.
yeah.
I don't know if you're going to bring it up, Lol, but that trainer has had a good year.
Oh, I can he just?
I've only
And he
skitted over
trained
that.
second. He trained first and second in the national.
We might be stealing Lol's thunder, Peter. So,
No, carry on, carry on.
well, he won for 1 and 2 in the Cheltenham Gold Cup, 1 and 2 in the Grand National, won some
right.
other Cheltenham races. I mean,
Yeah.
as Rachel Blackwell said, I don't know what he's feeding them, but
I think you're
not
turning
doing
yours
her
up.
any harm.
Careful.
First to go out of the race, by the way, was Dave Red's Mrs. Christine on Lakeview Lad. No, hang on. I've got her as 7th as well.
We got back up again.
Must have done.
But there was
Anyway.
some nasty falls. I don't know, not so much for the horses, but some of the lads got kicked badly.
Yeah.
Second and
Yeah, I
third
was-
rider to fall. I remember getting a whack.
But 15 out of 40 to finish. No,
40%, not a very good return, is it?
No,
no.
still
Right.
a tough race.
Not much news left now.
Good.
Let's get cracking
Excellent.
with
Excellent.
Lol's
Going.
news of the week.
Right,
News
Come
of the
on.
week. News of the week.
News of the week. News
Well,
of-
it's news of the week.
soon skip this through this. Snooker first. Now, Alan McManus has retired from professional snooker after he was beaten 6-3 to a Chinese teenager in a World Championship qualifying round in Sheffield. The Scots' biggest triumph came in 1994 when he ended compatriot Stephen Hendry's 5-year dominance of the Masters with an epic 9-8 win in the final. 50-year-old McManus won 2 ranking titles, which were the Dubai Classic and Thailand Open in the 1990s, during his 31-year career in snooker. Now, after beating Jimmy White in the first qualifying match, Stephen Hendry lost heavily to a Chinese qualifier in the next round, which was only his 3rd match of his comeback after retiring 9 years ago. Henry won the first frame and had a 53-point lead in the second before losing 6-1, which ended his interest in this year's World Championship.
Lol.
Hello?
Yeah, can I just mention the fact that I'm actually unbeaten against the Chinese at snooker.
Only because you've never played them.
Oh, he has. Believe me, he has.
I have.
During the Opium Wars.
We went to China. We went to China once, and we were staying in a hotel at Xi'an, where the Terracotta Army is. And I happened to notice that there were some snooker tables. So I said to the guy who was our rep, who was a really nice Chinese man, I said, come on, we'll have a game of snooker. The loser buys the drinks. And he went, no. Anyway, we went out that evening. We came back and I'm in the lift and the lift doors open at the floor where the snooker tables were. And I stood there. He says, come with me, we play snooker.
Had he only got one arm?
So
Was that an Indian accent? Was that an Indian accent you used then?
Yes, yeah. Come with me.
Racist.
Yeah, and I followed him round, and one of the tables they got all cordoned off, and there was a guy stood there with his snooker cue, dicky bow, waistcoat, the lot. Stood there, and he said, "He my representative." So they gave me a cue to play with. So I thought, oh, I'm in trouble here. And so I said to him, I asked him where he was from. And he said, he was from Sheehan. So I said, I'm from Sheffield.
Good cowboy, him, Sheehan.
Yeah, yeah. I told him I was from Sheffield, where the Crucible was. Oh, Crucible. He said, you been to Crucible? So I said, yeah, I've been a few times. I didn't tell him I only went as a spectator. That obviously unnerved him somewhat, and I beat him. I remain unbeaten against the Chinese.
Well, you know, when you went to see Terracotta Army, did he ask you to keep moving because he was stock taking?
True.
Old ones are still the old ones.
They are, aren't they? Never fail.
Okay, sorry, Lon.
Carry on. Right, a little bit more on snooker. Now, the World Snooker Tour is recognising Jimmy White's outstanding contribution to the sport by giving him an invitational tour card for the next 2 years. Defeat to Stephen Hendry in the first qualifying round last week gave him he would drop off the end of this. Sorry, got this wrong. Defeat to Stephen Hendry in the first qualifying round last week for this year's World Championship meant the 6-time Crucible runner-up would drop off the tour at the end of the season. Now, finally, on snooker, the final of the World Championship is set to be played in front of a capacity crowd at the Crucible Theatre in May. The return of fans will be staggered throughout the event, with the venue starting at 33% capacity. And World Snooker says face coverings will be required in the venue, but social distancing will not be expected as the number of fans increases. And the final 2 days of the year's championship will be played in front of full houses.
Super spreader.
Incredible.
A bit on diving. Now, after having been recently cancelled, the Diving World Cup in Tokyo, which is a test and qualification event for the Olympics, has now been rescheduled for the 1st to the 6th of May. The sport's international governing body, FINA, said that after a very fruitful consultation process with the Japanese Swimming Federation, Olympic organisers, the government and the International Olympic Committee, the event could go on after all. And it was originally scheduled to start next Sunday, the 18th of April.
But Jack Grealish weren't available.
Oh, that's right. Now we come on to horse racing. Now, Rachel Blackmore made sporting history by becoming the first female jockey to win the Grand National with victory on Minella Times at Aintree. The Irish rider scored a thrilling triumph on the 11-1 chance, trained by Henry de Bromhead. Blackmore had already achieved a landmark success at last month's Cheltenham Festival when becoming the first woman to be the meeting's leading lady. Now, last Saturday, in the 173rd running of the world's most famous steeplechase, she demonstrated perfect poise and timing to guide her horse expertly around the 30 fences over more than 4¼ miles for victory by 6½ lengths. Now, of the 40 starters, only 15 finished, 4 falling, 4 unseating the rider, and poor old the Long Mile had to be euthanized, making the 13th fatality since 2000. And that sparked fresh calls for the sport to be banned. Now, boxing. Now, Conor Benn, 24-year-old son of famous father Nigel Benn, produced a most destructive display of his career to knock out Colombia's Samuel Vargas in 80 seconds to give him his 18th win in as many fights. 31-year-old Vargas, who had lost 6 of his previous 39 outings, protested at being stopped, but offered very little in defence against a fierce attack by his British welterweight opponent. A bit on cage fighting again.
Pardon?
I mentioned that a week or two ago, I think. But Conor McGregor had confirmed he will meet Dustin Poirier for a 3rd time in a mixed martial arts contest on the 10th of July at the UFC Octagon. The Irishman, a former 2-weight world champion, came out of retirement for January's rematch at UFC 257, but was stunned as Poirier claimed victory. In their first meeting in September 2014, McGregor stopped the American inside 106 seconds. But some news that came in last night by McGregor, he's cancelled the fight after a war of words on Twitter and Instagram. The fight is off and he's going to fight somebody else on the 10th of July.
Lol, when you say mixed martial arts,
Yep.
do women fight as well?
Be nice if they did, wouldn't it, Keith?
Yes,
So that's just mud wrestling.
All right, okay.
It's the very antithesis of sport.
Correct.
Absolutely.
A little bit on Formula One. Now, McLaren driver Daniel Ricciardo has backed changes being made to the Australia's Formula One circuit in an attempt to improve racing. 7 of the 16 corners at Melbourne's Albert Park track are being modified for this year's race, which has been rescheduled for mid-November. The biggest change is the removal of the chicane at turn 9 and turn 10. It'll make the racing closer. I'm pretty confident of that, said Ricardo. Now, a bit on rugby league. Ex-Sheffield Eagles player and current Castleford Tigers head coach Darryl Powell will succeed Steve Price at Warrington Wolves when the Australian leaves the club at the end of 2021. 55-year-old Powell will end an 8-year spell at his boyhood club at the end of the season to take up a 3-year deal with Warrington. He played for Sheffield Eagles from 1984 to 1995, and he still holds the club record for the most individual tries in a match, which is 5. He had a testimonial match at Sheffield Eagles in 1994, and he played for England in the 1995 Rugby League World Cup. Now, a little bit on tennis. Now, the French Open has been postponed by a week in the hope that more spectators will be allowed to attend. The Grand Slam at Roland Garros will now run from 30th of May to the 13th of June, with qualifying a week earlier. Currently, France is in a 3rd national lockdown amid a surge of coronavirus cases, which President Emmanuel Macron has previously said he expected to end in mid-May. The French Tennis Federation said postponing a week was the best solution. Now, a little bit on golf. Now, Tiger Woods was driving close to double the 45-mile-an-hour speed limit when he crashed in February, according to the Los Angeles County Police. The 45-year-old had to be extricated from the wreck of his car by firefighters and paramedics after it left the road at about 84 to 87 miles per hour and flipped over several times during the accident in California. It is believed that unfamiliarity with the hire car caused him to hit the accelerator instead of the brake.
Oh, yeah. That old chestnut.
The old ones are always the best.
Yeah. And the tree jumped out in front of him.
Oh my goodness me.
A little bit more on golf. Hideki Matsuyama became the first Japanese golfer to claim a major title when he won the Masters by 1 stroke at Augusta National. He had a 4-shot lead going into the final day, and despite some nervy moments, managed to hold off the field to finish 10 under par and win the first prize, $2,000,000 $70,000. England's Justin Rose, who led for the first 2 rounds, faded in the final 18 holes to finish 7th on 5 under par. His prize money, $385,250.
Oh,
So it's not bad for winning.
That
or
was
losing,
getting
is
out of
it?
bed for. Is it?
No.
4 days
Well-
as well.
Come on to football now.
oh,
Now, Middlesbrough's Riverside Stadium will host 2 England friendlies in preparation for this summer's European Championship. Gareth Southgate's men will face Austria on Wednesday, 2nd of June, before playing Romania 4 days later. The Riverside was selected a COVID-secure venue to host both fixtures. Under the government's current plans to move England out of lockdown, some supporters should be allowed to attend the 2 games.
But got nothing to do with the fact that he played and managed there.
yeah. I reckon it's the ICI works that's along next door to it. That's
Yeah. Kills any virus.
yeah.
Now, the Scottish government, they've given approval for 12,000 supporters, which is 25% of the stadium's capacity, to attend Euro 2020 matches at Hampden in June. UEFA had given the 12 host cities until last Wednesday to submit plans for fan attendance, with the likelihood of some venues being switched if no guarantees could be given. Now, on the same topic, UEFA has confirmed that 8 out of the 12 host cities for this summer's Euro 2020 will have spectators attending games. The 4 remaining cities, which are Munich, Rome, Bilbao and Dublin, have until the 19th of April to provide additional information on their plans before final decisions are made as to whether they can host any matches. Host associations have been asked to submit plans to accept fans by last Wednesday, 7th of April. The League Two strugglers, Southend, have sacked manager Mark Mosley after he was replaced him with former boss Phil Brown. Former Weymouth boss Mosley was appointed last summer after the club's relegation to the 4th tier. But after a poor season, Southend at the moment are on the verge of dropping into the National League. The Sheffield Wednesday legend, Carlton Palmer, is moving back into management for the first time in 16 years. In a shock announcement, it was confirmed he will take the reins at non-league Grantham Town, a Bet Victor Northern Premier League Premier Division outfit based at step 3 in the non-league pyramid. He has not managed since leaving Mansfield Town in 2005, although he has since worked and coached in Shanghai.
And neither was he really a legend, was he?
Spoken like a true fan. That's a true fan.
It was a leg end.
He was a player, underrated, but not a legend.
No.
He said
Dave Redfern's more of a legend than he was.
They said he covered every blade of grass on the field every game because his first touch was so bad.
Back to last weekend for the 2 home teams. After the Lord Mayor's show in beating Cardiff 5-0 last week, the Owls came down to earth with a bit of a bump at Loftus Road on Saturday as they lost 4-1 to QPR. After a decent first half performance, Wednesday had a second half to forget when they conceded 3 goals to remain entrenched 7 points from safety in the Championship.
They were robbed.
To an extent they were. We should have had a penalty. We were unlucky with the second goal, but not really robbed over 90 minutes.
But they should have had a penalty.
We should have had a penalty. At 2-1, we should have had a penalty.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Anyway,
the fact that he had 18 shots to their 9, and it's been the trouble all season, apart from the Cardiff game. We just can't shoot straight. We don't take chances, do we, Dave?
No.
No.
You've got to win
shots and we get 1 goal.
Yeah, Wednesday you've got to win a minimum of 3 games out of their last
minimum.
6.
Yeah. absolute minimum.
Be grateful that your team has a shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tough one tonight, John.
Pardon?
Swansea at home.
Oh, they're all tough now, mate. They're all tough. I mean, it's only another Welsh side. We thrash Welsh sides.
The Blades, they could have relegation from the Premiership confirmed next weekend if they lose at Wolves after they were beaten 3-0 at home to Arsenal on
Wouldn't that be
Sunday.
when they lose at Wolves?
Yeah, they won't
They
be
were
playing on
undone
Saturday.
by two really well taken goals by Lacazette and one by Martinelli after Lundstrom gave the ball away. Surprise, surprise.
Shock horror.
Your friend, Chris.
Who?
Right.
Lundstrom.
A non-trier.
Right, we've mentioned about the Duke of Edinburgh. We've done a little bit about him, a bit comical and a bit serious, but nothing to do about the family. The Sport paid tribute to Prince Philip after his death was announced on Friday. Venues flew flags at half-mast. Periods of silence were held at many events, with participants wearing black armbands. Now, a bit about his early life. He learnt to fly in 1952. In 1956, he received his helicopter wings with the Navy before gaining his private license for planes in 1959. And he became the first royal to fly in and out of Buckingham Palace Gardens in a helicopter. He flew just under 6,000 hours as a pilot in 59 types of aircraft over 44 years before giving up flying in 1997. He was a keen yachtsman, but his main love was polo, which he had to give up in 1971, aged 50, due to arthritis. He then took to carriage driving, in which he became world champion in 1980. It was a sport he helped to expand, with the early rule book drafted under his supervision. He also wrote 14 books, including several equestrian books.
Including
He's
what?
very famous for his gaffes, and I've got a few now that might just make you chuckle.
Lol, in what books did he write?
Equestrian.
Equestrian.
Equestrian, yeah.
Equestrian of sport.
Yes.
He was
He's also a very good artist as well in oil paints.
he was also president of the MCC.
Yeah. You on and on and on about it, but
That's important.
Well, that's pretty important.
I think he was one of those, in inverted commas, annoying men that anything he took up, he excelled at.
Yeah. Yes.
well, at school he's good at cricket, good at rugby, just a natural sportsman.
Yeah. Go on then, Lol.
Now, here are a few of his gaffes. Now, on a visit to China in 1986, to a 21-year-old British student, he said, "If you stay here much longer, you will go home with slitty eyes." To a British student who had trekked around Papua New Guinea, he said to him, "You managed not to get eaten then." To a British tourist during a tour of Budapest in Hungary in 1993, he said to this tourist, "You can't have been here that long. You haven't got a pot belly." To a Scottish driving instructor, "How do you keep the natives off the booze long enough to pass the test?"
Oh.
When asked in 1967 whether he would like to go to Russia, "I would like to go to Russia very much, although the bastards murder half my family." And when addressing parents,
amazing. You hear all these jokes, and in
What's that,
private
Keith? That's
company,
What?
the life and soul of the party, they're great jokes, but give them to the press, and it's
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Haven't we got it so wrong?
Yeah.
now when addressing parents on a visit to Furvale Comprehensive School in Sheffield, which had a very poor reputation for underachieving, he said to the parents, "Were you here in the bad old days? Well, that's why you can't read and write." When showing impatience to be fed at a dinner party in 2004, he said, "Bugger the table plan, give me my dinner." Number 8. Oh, response when at a lunch discussing difficulties of people getting rich in Britain. What about Tom Jones? He's made $1 million and is a bloody awful singer. And finally, when asked about his daughter, Princess Anne, if it doesn't fart or eat hay, she ain't bothered.
Got one from the RAF club for you, Lol.
Yeah.
Go on.
Sitting down to have the photographs taken, he was getting impatient, and these are the very words: "Just take the fucking thing, will you?"
Many more where that came from.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Expect to knock on your door later on, lol. Yeah. People listening.
The removal ban's here.
You've missed the one in Australia when he asked the Aborigine
Oh, yeah.
if they,
Come on then, Keith. I'll let you tell that one.
he asked the Aborigine if they still threw spears at each other.
I could go on forever, but there were about 80 odd gaffs I went through. So listed on.
So
this
Well,
isn't
how
a
much
Prince,
you
sorry, this isn't a Prince Philip gaff, but I remember England were playing China a few years ago, and the report, I think it was in the Independent, said that the English attack were finding chinks in the opposition defence.
Brilliant.
You can't possibly say that.
Yeah.
Prince Philip claimed to be the master of a particular kind of science. It was called dontopedology, and it's the art of being able to put your foot in your mouth.
I nearly said that one, Paul, but I can't pronounce that, what you just said.
I'm not sure I can play it again.
But he did achieve an incredible amount, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah. Made a lot of sacrifices and achieved an easy target, but he achieved a terrific amount.
Well,
It was great with the younger generation.
Yeah.
Who, one of the reports, when they went for the DOE awards, he'd come and talk to all of them, and he'd have them in fits, cavorting with laughter because of these outrageous comments. But it just resonated with it. Some people say it's non-politically correct, but he was breaking the ice, and I just hate our press and media who catch on and make good copy. They ought to be hanging their heads in shame because the hypocrites now eulogizing him.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, even that in Australia. Apparently, previous to when he said that, it was one of the tribes who told him that only recently they were throwing spears at each other. So he asked this other tribe. So,
right.
Yeah.
And what he said to one, I said, "So you voted for Australia to be a republic, did you?" And I haven't got the story completely right. I said, "Yes, I did." "Oh, that's all right then. I hate coming to this bloody place."
I
told him I hated traveling to this place or something.
Right, we've got less than a minute to go, so I'll see you in 5 minutes' time. Okay.
All doing very well.